Welcome to the board of the Bantu. My name is Isobel and I am your local witch doctor. And like I promised, I'm always going to start with a short story from one of my ancestors. But this one is not really my ancestor. He is my grandmother's husband, but he is the grandfather I knew. He is the grandfather I always loved and venerated and thought was mine. Zachariah Kahari, the chief of the Zezuru people of Mashonaland East in those days of colonization and slavery had a story to tell. Okay, and his story was about slavery. Every year, the white district commissioner and his army would raid villages for young men between the ages of 16 and maybe 40. They would drag them from those villages in chains, take them to build bridges, to build roads, to build buildings, to build their homes, to build their cities. Some of them would be eaten by lions on the way. Would be attacked by lions on the way to building those things. Leopards and lions and cheetahs, they really had a good time eating them. Some of them died because of disease. Some of them were tortured to death. Okay. And the work was so hard and they had nowhere to put these people. So some of them would be sleeping outside and they would be attacked at night by wild animals. The same old story. Thousands would die every year. And about 6 or 7 or 8 months later, they would be released emaciated, with whip marks on their backs. They would be released and they would have to find their own way back home, only to be recaptured the next year and the next year and the next year. When my grandfather became the chief, when he inherited the throne, he did not enjoy that. So he decided that he would find a way of warning the males when the district commissioner was on his way, and then they would all have to hide in the caves. So those who lived near the chief, those whose villages were near my grandfather's, would always hear what we call the bosho. Woo! Maybe like woo 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 woo, and they would have to run. They would have to run and they would have to hide, because my grandfather said he was not letting the district commissioner take as many people as he could. The few who didn't hear it, who didn't hear the call, like run, the district commissioner and his army are on their way, of course they would be caught. This happened until 1960 something, like 1966, 1967. They called it the tax. We were paying taxes. Paying taxes for what? For things that we did not use, for places where we're not allowed to be. Right? They called it tax. So the one thing that really hurts me is when I hear other Africans who don't understand Bantu, who don't know our Bantu history. They are always quick to say, out of their jealousy, it is jealousy. Jealousy and nothing but jealousy. White people built it for you. No, sir. No, ma'am. Our ancestors built our countries for us. From South Africa to Kenya. From South Africa to Namibia. From South Africa to the Congo. From South Africa to every Bantu territory. Yes, our ancestors. They bled, they died, they were tortured, they were eaten by animals. Our fathers, they died of disease, they died of hunger. Our fathers. The whole city of Cape Town was created from slavery. Part of Cape Town was in the ocean and they needed to get land. See, the white man and his ideas, instead of not settling there, he decided that he will create land. So he had to have buckets and buckets and buckets of sand, billions of buckets of sand moved from one part of South Africa and thrown into the ocean to push the ocean line away so that he could build his city. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, millions of black labor did that for free. They had slavery dormitories where they kept these black men and these black women, and now they have, destroyed them because they want to pretend that there was no history of slavery. Yes, there was. Yes, there was. Cape Town was built on slavery. Okay, now we can go on to Kanye West. I have opened the board of the Bantu. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Okay, with their blood, with their tears, with their memories, with their history. I'm sitting here right now. I can hear them all screaming. I can hear them all screaming because I have talked about their pain, their grief, what they went through. So yeah, don't be jealous and say your countries were built by the white men. No. You just mismanage yours more than we mismanage ours, and we do mismanage ours all day, every day. Okay. So Kanye West has been in the news. And there's been a whole lot of, please do Kanye West. And this is a request. This is truly a request. I had to release the souls and the energies of my bloodline, not my bloodline that went through the slavery and others' bloodlines too. And there were just too many voices screaming in my head. And that's why I usually don't like to talk about this sort of thing. It's like I woke them up from the graves and they are everywhere. And maybe one day I will do a reading on them. But today we're doing Kanye. Okay. Kanye West. Okay. So he's been in the news. Kanye West has been in the news saying all sorts of things. He lost his billionaire status and he got all anti-Semitic and his rage was all over the place, right? And he said something about bad contracts. I think I read that on Twitter where he was showing bad contracts and he was talking about the unfairness. And then I understand that he was removed from Yeezy. I mean, yeah, we do know that we do hear from medical doctors that Kanye is bipolar, and he said some doctor, because of his religion, said he was bipolar. Yeah, it was, I didn't quite follow it all the way through, but this is a request. I've had this request in my DMs. I told you all my DMs are not for that, but I've had this request and I decided to take a look at him to see what's going on. So this is an overview of Kanye West, okay? Overview. Okay, let's call Kanye. Kanye. Like 3 Kanye energies walked into the place. One of them is sobbing. And he's sitting down over here and he is sobbing. One of them is talking, pointing fingers and screaming. And one of them is laughing and partying with women. Wearing a chain, laughing and partying with women. I've never seen this, but maybe this is what bipolar looks like in the metaphysical. I know I shouldn't be laughing because this is serious, but maybe this is what bipolar looks like in the metaphysical. I've never seen a soul split into 3. Grandma says 5 actually. Just the other 2 are listless and despondent. That's true. Thank you, Grandma. Like the other 2 are listless and despondent and not doing anything. So now what do I do, Grandma? Okay, so my grandmother says that I have to bring all these Kanyes together to consolidate as one. So then we get the dominant one. Okay, consolidate. Become one. Okay, so they did become one. They all went and they joined the weeping Kanye. The weeping Kanye is no longer weeping, but he is full of regret. So really, basically, what my ancestors are saying is that Kanye is the weeping Kanye. All these other parts is when he jumps out of himself and he says something and then he goes back to weeping. And then the parts when he is socializing with women and he's laughing, then he goes back to weeping. Then the part where he is introspective and he's actually thinking and he goes back to women. Then the other part when he feels caged and he doesn't know what to do with himself and he's desperate for advice, it goes back to the weeping. So the weeping is the main Kanye at this point, only he is not weeping as much. Oh my god, I totally forgot to add to change my timer. Okay, I'll do it. So the weeping part is not the weeping part is who he really is right now. So Kanye is really depressed. He's really unhappy. He really doesn't know what he's going to do now. He's in deep financial trouble. He's been losing contracts for the last 5 years. That's what we're getting. But, you know, when he was married to Kim, this is what we're getting. When he was married to Kim, she managed to hold it together for him. And she managed to make sure that he didn't lose anything, right? She used her name. She used her contacts. She used her people. In fact, she actually helped him get some of the connections and contacts that he got in business. Kanye is not a good businessman, and Kanye has generally allowed other people to run his business. Of course, yeah, you can't run that whole big business yourself, and especially when you didn't go to business school. Let me tell you, it's really tough. So Kanye, you know, had other people working for him and telling him how to behave and how, you know, but he didn't listen. He stopped listening because his disease got worse. The world should not be looking at Kanye as this bad person. The world should be looking at Kanye as someone who is crushing because he has